Hey everyone, so I'm here today because I just saw the new dino horror flick, The End of Oak Street. So when I first heard about this movie, I was actually kind of pumped up about it. The premise sounded interesting enough, but what really caught my attention was the fact that it was directed by David Robert Mitchell, the same director behind It Follows, which is a movie I highly recommend. Unfortunately, the marketing for The End of Oak Street was really bad. The trailer seemed to give away some of the movie's biggest moments, which really bothered a lot of people, including myself. And then to make matters worse, there was that infamous AI slop video used to promote the film, which obviously caused a lot of controversy, and it's really just yet another case of Warner Brothers trying to stay relevant and failing miserably. But despite my skepticism, I also did not want to judge the movie entirely based on a really questionable promotional stunt, so I still decided to give it a fair shot. And I'm glad I did because despite all of the problems surrounding its marketing, I actually ended up liking The End of Oak Street. It's definitely not what I expected, and that's kind of why I enjoyed it. It was shocking, it was suspenseful, and it was funny. Like, I did not expect to be laughing so hard at this movie, but not in a, oh, this is so bad it's funny kind of way. What I mean is, it has a lot of humorous scenes, like the part where the two dinosaurs are mating. But then it'll catch you off guard with something shocking or disturbing. Some of the death scenes are pretty gruesome and even sad at points. It is definitely a lot more brutal than what I expected, like the scene where the kid tries jumping through the time warp. The film is also really good at establishing tension, like the scene where Ian McGregor is being chased by something on the other side of the fence and you can't really see what it is. That was one of my favorite parts of the movie. There's some pretty good ambiance, and the sound effects of the dinosaurs honestly stand out pretty well from your typical cheesy sci-fi channel flick. I did like the music for the most part. There's times where it's almost trying to be like 28 years later, but then there's a lot of other times where it's almost trying to be like this classic John Williams E.T. Home Alone type of music. But at times it kind of breaks the tension and becomes distracting. Like, there's one scene that starts off pretty creepy with the family wandering alone through the neighborhood, but then this music starts playing like something out of Home Alone, and it just kills the tension. A bit more silence could have helped set the mood a bit. I thought Anne Hathaway and Ian McGregor both did a really good job. I would even say this is one of their best performances they've done in a while. Like the scene where they're both fighting with each other and the daughter is crying in the other room, that scene felt real to me, like that was really heavy. However, I thought most of the other actors, especially the kids, were just kind of I mean, Macy Stella was really good as the daughter. She does a good job at selling her character being completely distraught and devastated over everything that's happening. But the rest of the actors are just kind of there, take it or leave it. I also think some of the character development could have been fleshed out a bit, especially like the scenes with the bully. Like, he's only in like 2 scenes in the movie, and he just sort of disappears after that. It almost felt like part of the movie was missing to me. And there's a lot of stuff that really just did not make a whole lot of sense. Like, I understand it's a movie about dinosaurs and time travel, but you have moments where it's like, really? You mean to tell me that an Allosaurus can take several gunshots to the face, but somehow a sledgehammer is enough to knock it out? I did like the dog, Starbuck the Blue Heeler, but the dog didn't really get to do much besides bark. And look, I love dogs, I love blue heelers. In fact, part of the reason I wanted to see this was because I myself own a blue heeler that looks like Starbuck. But it didn't really seem like the dog got to do much, and it didn't even seem like the family was all that attached to the dog. But it really seemed like the dog was just there to sell movie tickets, which takes us back to that AI slop advertising. That video has caused a lot of people to debate over how much AI was used in the film, or if they used AI at all. And these days, it's more important than ever for us to be able to recognize what is AI and what is not. And honestly, it was hard for me to tell watching this, so I really don't want to say whether or not they did. So all I'm going to say in place of that is that the CGI looks really iffy. And I'm not even just talking about the dinosaurs, even the dog. Like, there are times where the dog is clearly CGI, and even for scenes where they really didn't seem like they needed to use CGI. I thought the time warp sphere thing was pretty cool, but a lot of the other effects just really don't look all that good. I've already praised Jurassic Park and how it utilized both CGI and practical effects, but I really wish they had done something like that here because the CGI stands out so badly. The worst of it, though, would have to be the giant snake. The giant snake in the movie looked awful. But if you're able to overlook special effects, it's really not that bad, especially if you happen to be a fan of B-movies like I am. I also like how, despite being set in the 1980s, it does not try to milk nostalgia like a lot of other movies would. But it does a good job at playing around with the time period a bit, like with the Polaroid camera. It also means the characters are not able to rely on modern technology to help them. I also do have to give the movie a lot of credit on the ending. The ending really was unexpected. For a plot that throws so much chaos at you and constantly leaves you wondering how everything is going to play out, I was genuinely impressed by how well it actually ties everything together. Something like that takes some real talent to pull off, and I have to give it to the filmmakers. My final rating is a 7 out of 10. I can understand why some people might think the movie is a letdown or it's just not what they wanted, though I still think it's far better than sitting through another uninspired Jurassic World sequel. And ultimately, I'm glad I decided to give it a chance rather than judging it based on Warner Bros.' lousy marketing strategies. Considering how skeptical I was going into this, the end of Oak Street wound up being a pleasant surprise. It may not be perfect, but there's definitely a lot to appreciate about it. So, thank you for watching, I hope you enjoyed the video, and I will see you next time.